Hey YouTube, today we're going to talk about some of the dumb things people do with their firearms, and we're going to talk about some of the stuff you should do and some of the stuff you should not do. But before we get started, I'm going to let you know that none of these firearms are loaded, and as I pick them up, I will show you there's nothing in them. So what we have here in front of us today is we have a Glock 44 chambered in 22 long rifle. We have a Smith & Wesson 629 chambered in 44 Magnum. We have a Wesson Valor chambered in 45 ACP. It's a 1911. And we have a Ruger Mark II target gun chambered in 22 long rifle. And this one's a stainless one. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about some of the things that people overthink and some of the things they should do and some of the stuff they should not do. So we're going to get started with this revolver here, because revolvers can be abused very easily. And this is a Smith & Wesson 629. This is an earlier model one. This is a -3. Show you some of the side views of it and everything. It's just a Smith & Wesson 629 stainless steel large frame revolver. And we're going to talk about one of the things that people really gets on my nerves to watch people. They ask, can you dry fire a revolver? Folks, I'm here to tell you you can. And I'm going to show you right here in front of me. I'm going to pull this hammer back and I'm going to dry fire it. And I'm going to do it single action. Now, people usually take these things, the people that overthink, and they'll load the cylinder up with snap caps so they can quote unquote dry fire it without hurting it. And I want you to take a careful look right up here between here, and when I pull this hammer back and pull the trigger, you'll see the firing pin goes in there. It's not hitting anything. It's not going to hurt anything. On this particular gun, this is the older one, it's got a firing pin mounted to the hammer, and it goes through the frame, and there's no way that you can hurt this gun by dry firing it. I don't know where that rumor started many years ago, but to watch people, it absolutely cracks me up to watch them say, well, you can't dry fire my gun. You can dry fire this gun as many times as you want. You're never going to hurt it. I promise you. It's all a myth. The snap cap thing, it does nothing for it. Now, one of the other things that people like to do with revolvers is they think of this as the Wild Wild West, and they think of this as a 6-shooter. And they take these guns and the cylinder will be open and they'll load them up and they want to flip the cylinder in, you know, like really hard, like cowboy style. Well, that you should not do, folks. And when I load my revolvers up, I like to stick my fingers through the frame here, support it, and close it up firmly. Even if you close it firmly, you're fine. You want to give this cylinder support. You don't want to put any extra strain on this crane right here. You know, if you did it once or twice, is it going to hurt it? Probably not, but it's kind of like peeling out in your car. You know, it's probably just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Peeling out in the car puts extra wear and tear on the engine, the drivetrain, the tires, and all that. But people do it to look cool, the same way they cowboy action these guns and just fling these cylinders in and out. It's not a good idea to do stuff like that. So we can dry fire them, but you should not cowboy them. Now, another thing that people like to do is pull this hammer back and spin the cylinder around really hard. Is that a good idea? It's not, folks. It's not a good idea at all. This cylinder was meant to detent itself in with these little detents right here. And to pull this back and start spinning this around, they spin it really hard like they're playing Russian roulette. It's not a good idea. You can knock them out of time. You can put excessive wear on the inside. You can actually hear when you turn this around, you can actually hear it moving, and you shouldn't do that, folks. There's no reason to do that. We're all not in the Wild West. We're not playing Russian roulette or anything. So just be mindful of that when you're using a revolver. You know, always be safe with your firearms, but also respect them and take care of them. And they will last you basically a lifetime, and you will be able to pass them down to your family members, your children, or whatever have you in your family. So the next one we're going to talk about is this 1911. And the 1911 is probably one of my favorite platforms. But people look at these guns, and one of the things that bothers me the most about 1911 people is when they pull the slide back here, and they use this quote-unquote slide release to drop the slide. Well, folks, this is not a slide release. This is a slide stop. If you'll notice, when I pull this back and push this up in here, it's to stop the slide. It is not to release the slide. Now, if you have a loaded magazine in here, can you use this to release a slide? You can, because it absorbs a lot of the shock with having a loaded magazine in here when it's chambering the round and pushing it into the throat. But if you have this gun dry and you just drop the slide, it puts a lot of stress on like the extractor, the slide. It's banging metal against metal, and that's never a good thing, folks. So keep that in mind when you're out there wanting to look fancy and cool and you want to drop the slide using the slide stop. I'm going to call it a slide stop. It's not a slide release. So that's a big no-no. Can you dry fire 1911s? You absolutely can. You're not going to hurt anything dry firing a 1911. It's never gonna be an issue. You don't have to load snap caps in it or anything. It's just one of the things that people that do use snap caps to say you can't dry fire it, they cannot scientifically explain to you why you cannot dry fire a gun. So next one we're going to move to is going to be this Ruger. This is a Mark II stainless steel 22 target rifle. And one of the rumors that's always going around about 22 rimfires is you cannot dry fire it. Well, you can dry fire it, folks, and there's no reason why that anybody that has a rimfire gun that says you cannot rim or dry fire it can explain to me why you can't dry fire it. It doesn't hurt anything. It's not going to be anything bad or anything like that. You know, you just do things with do things with care. You don't need to be excessively dry firing anything or metal against metal, but it's not going to hurt it at all, folks. This gun's been dry fired before, and it'll still go out there, and it'll work just fine when you take it out to the range or you load some ammunition into it. So the thing about dry firing rimfire guns, that you cannot do that, it's basically all rumors, folks. It doesn't hurt anything. So this is also a 22 long rifle. This is a Glock 44. This is actually an interesting gun. It almost feels like a toy. Has a plastic slide on it and everything. And it is also rim-fired 22 long rifle. And yes, you can fire it, folks. There's been a lot of engineering and R&D done when they make these firearms. That you've got to remember, they sell these to the general public. And most of the general public is not excessively educated on firearms. They buy this thing and they're going to go home, play around with it, dry fire it and everything. And if that was going to cause immediate damage to the firearm, they couldn't sell them to the general public because they'd be selling a liability. And this gun is fine to dry fire. It's not going to hurt anything. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about, and the reason I have this one out here, is this one has front serrations on it. And a lot of people, especially in the new times, they have to have front serrations because they want to walk up to a firing line and they want to press check. They want to grab onto this slide here and see if there's a round in there. Well, folks, you should have enough training with your firearm to know when it's loaded or not. And almost all of the guns, including this one, has a look that you can see down in it whether the gun's loaded or not. You should always know when there's a round chambered, and you know what? Every gun is loaded. You need to always have it in a safe direction and be ready to go. Even though I've showed you a million times that this gun's not loaded, I'm not going to sit there and aim it towards a dangerous area like another person or myself or anything. I'm going to treat this gun like it's loaded all the time. Now, the thing that I don't like about press checking is the closer you are to the muzzle of a gun, the more dangerous it is. And you have to reach up here, and if you'll look, my hand can get awfully close to that muzzle when I'm press checking. It's the dumbest thing I've ever had. There should be no reason to have front serrations on a firearm. I would like people to grab the slide of a semi-automatic gun as far away from the muzzle as they can. And people that get out there and press check are once again the same as the people that cowboy action their revolvers or have to drop the slide back on a semi-automatic gun without just dropping it without relieving the pressure on it or anything. So if you have a semi-automatic gun, the way that I do this, if it's loaded like this, and I have a loaded magazine in here, I walk it to the firing line, I grab this and just pull it back and ease it back like that. Or you can do it with a little bit of authority. You can just grab it and just release it, so it picks up the round good. But dropping that slide, using that slide stop is never a good idea. So some of the things we've gone over, a little bit of recap. Is it okay to dry fire revolvers or any firearm? Yes, it's fine to dry fire them. Is a 22 long rifle or 22 any kind of rimfire, is it safe to dry fire? Because everybody says it's not. Yes, it's safe to dry fire, folks. Should you ever drop the slide on a semi-automatic gun using the slide stop? No, you shouldn't. It's not bad if you have a round in the chamber. It's not such a bad idea, but to sit there with nothing in it and to drop a slide on something like that, it puts a lot of stress on it. And the press checking thing, is that a good idea? To use front serrations to press check? It's not a good idea because you get very close to the muzzle. But this is just a few little things that seem to bother me. People buy these snap caps and they make YouTube videos. Well, I've got to put a snap cap in it first, or store them with snap caps in them. It's just absolutely stupid that people, they do things and they don't know why they do things. They cannot scientifically explain to you why they have their gun loaded with snap caps, but they just know that that's what you're supposed to do. It's not necessarily what you're supposed to do, folks. I always tell you the truth. I've done this for many years. I've never hurt a firearm because I treat them correctly. But if you have any questions or any opinions on the stuff that I went over today, I'd love to hear about it. And thank you very much for watching my video today. And you folks have a great day.